Hey there, everybody. This is your favorite YouTuber of all time, the Cain Keltic of Keltic Productions. And today I thought we would switch it up a little. This is a bit different from usual content that I post. This is not going to be right off the script. I wanted this to feel a bit natural and just sort of its own comfy vibe thing. I don't know. But instead of a video essay, I thought we would do something fun. And maybe a bit more personal, right? Something more direct to me and not just a topic for a video I'm covering. Like, I'm not going to be reviewing The Punisher show anytime soon in this video. But I might, so be careful. But anyways, what this is we're going to be making a list, well, I'm going to be making a list anyways, of my top 25 favorite games of all time, right? Let me do some quick math real quick, just to make sure.
2 hours later.
20. I'm pretty sure it's 20. But regardless, that probably makes it a bit easier, as I was trying to think before I'm recording, what games can I even put up on here? Because I only have like 10 favorite games, and spoiler alert, I don't think I have a favorite game of all time, at least not of right now. I really struggle with that, and I always flip-flop. I think a lot of games are great, but as my personality changes and my opinions and tastes sort of differ from the past, it's a bit harder to see the same games in the same light, and so like every couple of years it's gonna change. More like every couple of months, but that's besides the point. Anyways, I guess we should just jump right into this on our first game. Game number 1. This isn't my favorite game of all time, alright, I'm just gonna say that, but it's just the first one that came to mind, as it's probably one of my most favorite games that I've played recently, and that would probably go to Hotline Miami 2. I think we could only do one per genre, one per series, so I can't put both Hotline Miami 1 and 2, but if I had to pick between one or the other, I'm gonna have to say the sequel is a bit better, just because, in general, the gameplay felt better, the soundtrack is amazing, don't get me wrong, the original was a masterpiece in of its own right, but the second one just conveys, I don't know, the more intense feeling, and Carpenter Brute is just, he's amazing, alright? And all the other composers too, there's just like 20 of them, and I think it was really amazing. The story was really fun, and I liked the, sort of weird and convoluted way of storytelling in the series, and how it's sort of nonsensical until you really dive deep, but it's also not overly complex like Dark Souls or anything. It's just its own thing, and it's fun. You don't need the story anyways. Like, the story is there, and it's really cool and interesting, but it's probably not why you're going into Hotline Miami. You're going into it for its fun and intense gameplay and all the blood and gore and all the fast-paced action. The adrenaline rush when you can die in one hit from anything, and you have to kill everything, but everyone else dies in one hit too. So, or at least most, you know what I mean, besides bosses, I guess. But just in general, killing and, really just massacring all like the Russian gangsters or soldiers and everything. It's just really fun, and it's just really cathartic. I love this game, so yeah, I'm gonna have to place this as our first favorite video game. Alright guys, so if you are looking at this right now, you've just noticed that the website has changed. Same premise though, we're going to be ranking our favorite video games. This one should work though, and like I said, Hotline Miami 2 is going to be our first favorite game, for me anyways. Alright, the second game is going to be another 16-bit video game. This time, though, it is a 2D platformer. And now you may be wondering, oh, is it Super Mario? Is it one of the Mario games? No, it is not, my friend. It is bootleg Mario. Second spot has to go to Sonic Mania, released in 2017, 2019, something like that. And it is just, it's fantastic. It's marvelous. It's the greatest 2D platformer of all time, no doubt. Without hesitation, I just love it, and I think it is perfect. I think it encapsulates what it means to be a Sonic game, platformer game, 16-bit, beautiful game. The graphics despite, being pixel, and that's usually a bad thing, right? Or at least the general audience sees it as a bad thing. But no, in Sonic Mania, the pixel art is just beautiful and stunning. The game runs smoothly, like 4K, 60 FPS. It's beautiful. All the levels are amazing, and, there's a lot of old original levels, but are redesigned to fit modern gaming environments and the modern gamer, and everything just feels smooth. And, this was our, well, besides, I think, Sonic 4 or whatever, that doesn't count. This was our first real, full-screen Sonic 2D platformer game, because all the other original Sonic the Hedgehog games were all 4x3, but this one, we can actually see more, and that's really helpful when you're zooming by everything and there's an obstacle. It gives you that slight second of, realizing, oh crap, I gotta go jump or go the other way, whatever, you just get more situational awareness, context, I don't know, but it's just amazing. Everything feels great. There's 3 original characters, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails in the base game, and then there is the Sonic Mania Encore DLC, which was also really fun. Got to play as Mighty the Armadillo and Mighty Ray from the Sonic arcade game, which was such a, that's a pretty deep cut, but it was pretty cool that they even added them. And I hope they actually return in Sonic Superstars or whatever. But we'll find out. But yeah, what else is there to say about Sonic Mania? All the bosses were pretty fun, and I like the new egg robot guys. Forget their names, like the hard-boiled something. But they're all kind of cool, and I'm trying to think. I really love this game, but there's just a lot I could talk about. There's a lot of fun special things, like the and Knuckles mode, and the little blue orbs mini games. Those are all kind of fun. Getting the Chaos Emeralds was actually pretty rewarding. A bit challenging at first for me anyways. I've never actually gotten all the Chaos Emeralds in a Sonic game before this, and it was pretty simple once you beat the game anyways. But it was fun, and getting the true ending felt like a really big accomplishment. And just in general, Sonic Mania is it's amazing, guys. You just play it, please, for the love of God. Just give it a shot, even if you don't like, retro games or whatever, or games that are retro-esque. Sonic Mania is just perfect, 10 out of 10. So that means that Sonic Mania is going down as the second favorite game of all time, for me anyways. Alright, so for the third spot, I'm pretty comfortable in ranking this as my third, at least top 3 out of my favorite games of all time. And this is going to go to the indie game released, and I'm pretty sure 2019 this time, I'll double check. But Hades, by Supergiant Games or whatever, I forget their name. I'm sorry, I'll put it on screen here too. But I love Hades, and a lot of people don't even know what Hades is. Like nowadays people do, right? It's one of the greatest indie games of all time. It's really famous, won a bunch of awards, and Hades 2 is eventually coming out, but at the time recording, it's not out. Though I will be getting it whenever it does. But Hades is just amazing. It's, isometric roguelike game where you just have one goal. Just reach the top of hell and escape. And it's a simple premise, but it is so addicting, okay? Because, you're just one guy, and you start off pretty weak, I'm gonna be honest. Alright, you're gonna struggle, and you're going to die a lot, over and over again, and every time you play, the whole level and layout of the map is gonna change, but you're gonna get used to that, you're gonna get comfortable with it, apologies. And once you get comfortable enough, you're gonna understand more of the concepts, you're gonna get better at combat, and you're gonna understand how all the different enemies work, you can understand all the different weapons, and unlock more weapons that are stronger, and you're gonna be able to upgrade those weapons, get more attacks, and then there's just a lot of, probably the best part is that there's a lot of NPCs, and they always have something new to say to you every time you start a new run, and it creates some fun death, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of personality in the game. It's very colorful. All the characters are also really colorful, and the writing is just amazing, and you can really develop a lot of deep personal connections with these fake characters, and they're all very quirky and have their own little traits. It's all based off of Greek mythology, of course, Hades, god of the underworld, and all that. And so you're gonna recognize a lot of those cool characters if you read Percy Jackson or just really into Greek mythology in general. It's just really fun, you know. You can romance Medusa, but just her head, and I think that's kind of funny. And that deserves to be in my top 3 favorite video games of all time. And just play this game. The story's so good, and the ending really got to me. That after, you know, beating the game enough times, you get the true ending, and yeah, it's just perfect. I still haven't 100%ed it. I do plan on it, though it is a very long and challenging task. Though I'm sure I will eventually completely finish Hades, and once I do, I think I'll be fully content in life, because everything in that game is just amazing. Also, check the soundtrack out, it's really good. Most of it was made by the voice actor of Zagreus, who is our protagonist, and it's just voice acting in general in that game is just amazing. But I couldn't go on and on enough about Hades. It's just amazing, and I feel like you really just need to play it yourself to truly understand, compared to most of the other games on this list. But there's a very easy solution. It's not that expensive for an indie game. It's pretty good. Just play it. Just play it. It'll be worth your time. Just trust me. Alright, trust me, bro. So that's why Hades will be going down as our 3rd favorite game of all time, for me anyways. Alright, so the next game on my list, I had to think about it just a little bit, just a little smidgen here and there. But it was kind of tough, because I'm only going to do one per series, of course. So I'm choosing a Resident Evil game, and it's very, very hard for me, okay, to choose one Resident Evil game when they're all like amazing 10 out of 10 masterpieces. But if I had to pick one out of like the bajillion that are out there, I'm gonna have to go with Resident Evil 7. Mainly because I'm quite nostalgic for 7, and just in general, I feel like it's probably the most creative and really experimental the series has gone in quite a long time, and really brought back the whole series as a whole and resurrected it from the complete downfall and dumpster fire that was Resident Evil 6. Haven't played the game, at least not in many years, but the impact that game had on the series and on the fan base was no good. But 7 changed all of that. It was amazing. For once, the series felt a lot more grounded, and it felt more, I don't know, human and realistic. It wasn't some big end-of-the-world zombie apocalypse, but it's just like a dude, and he's trapped in a big house, and he has to go save his wife, and that's nice. Just, you know, keep it simple, stupid. That game encapsulates the idea of keeping it simple while making it fun. And eventually, it does get a bit weird. It gets a bit creative and a bit stupid, but fun stupid. All the family members, they were really fun. Jack Baker, and just in my mind, sticks out like a sore thumb. He's like one of the greatest horror game antagonists of all time, and really captures that slasher sort of vibe that I feel like most video games, even like Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you just can't compete to the sort of animalistic feeling that Jack has, as he's just a beast and he will kick your butt throughout most of the game. Or at least, yeah, kind of scare you, because he's like Nemesis, you know, you can't get rid of him. He was a great mechanic. All the other family members, the mother, I forget her name, but she turns into like a giant little bug monster, which is really creepy. That whole section still give me the heebies. The son was a little creep, little goblin, little rascal. Gave a lot of Saw vibes. Weird, like psychological horror thing. And it's just really, really fun. And you wouldn't have expected that from Resident Evil 6 or Resident Evil 5 and 4 for that instance. It just doesn't fit. But it did fit, and it fit really well. And we have Resident Evil vibes to it still. There's the typewriter, there's the safe rooms, there's the puzzles, the giant mansion. They brought back the mansions. It's literally in the lore stated that the architect of the Resident Evil 1 mansion made the Resident Evil 7 mansion. And I think that's really cool. And it's just, it fits. It all fits somehow. It was also probably the scariest Resident Evil game for a while. Resident Evil 8 may compete, but I think Resident Evil 7 is still the scariest. But that's just me. This is also like the first real horror game I ever got into and felt confident enough to beat. So I'm sort of nostalgic for it, and I think Resident Evil 7 is the greatest horror game of all time. And it's also the fourth favorite game of all time for me, anyways. Alright, so the next game, I'm sort of debating on what should go next. But this is going to be a really, really easy and boring take. So don't, get all excited or anything. But next spot's going to have to go to Minecraft. I'm not going to go too into this because most people understand why Minecraft is considered like one of the greatest games of all time. You can do anything you want, really. It is your own game. It should be very hard to dislike Minecraft. And as a Gen Z person, Gen Z gamer, who was like raised with Minecraft, yeah, of course it's gonna be, it's gonna be like in my top 10 at least. It's just amazing. You can have fun. You can just do whatever, There's no restrictions. It's really just one giant playground of your imagination. Playing creative is really fun and what I prefer, just because I really suck at survival. I know a bunch of 10-year-olds are gonna be mad at me, but yeah, I just like, flying around the world and building whatever I want, watching YouTube tutorials and stuff, just seeing how creative people can get, and that Minecraft isn't truly a game at this point, but it's just like a utility, a vessel, I guess, of much more creative people than me, making really just magnificent stuff, and I can respect it. You can't deny the impact that Minecraft has also had on the gaming culture as a whole, and it's really amazing. The fact that it was made by one guy for most of the time, until now, and even though the modern development has been struggling at times, and that I have flaws, I have critiques, I guess, of the team, and I wish they did something better, Minecraft is still a great game, and the fact that they're still updating it to this very day is amazing and praiseworthy. And we all know that Minecraft is going to last much longer than most of us will live. So, it's just, Minecraft. What more can I say? That's why Minecraft is our safest pick so far, number 5. And number 5 favorite game of all time, for me anyways, blah blah blah. Alright, so the next game I want to put down here is going to be a Mario game. 3D Mario. Not 3D World, sorry, spoiler. But it's going to be Super Mario Galaxy. This was one of the main games, one of the only real games I played on the Wii, which I had for a brief time because I had a Wii U, and I have more memories of that because I'm too young. I'm a fetus, I guess. But I just really like Super Mario Galaxy, and I love Super Mario Galaxy 2, but I haven't played that in like decades, so I can't tell you how much I like Mario Galaxy 2 compared to 1, but part 1 is just phenomenal, and everything I truly want in a Mario game. The aesthetic in general is amazing, like taking Mario, this random plumber who's just, he's just a little rascal, and he goes to like little magical kingdoms to save the princess from a giant turtle, and then we're like, well, what if we brought Mario to space? And somehow that idea worked. It's just so cool. The Comet Observatory having your main hub just be a little space station with like a little alien princess goddess thing. And you gotta go help the little space babies who are also like stars that die and power you up and just power the world up. It's just really cool. It's really fun. All the worlds are really creative. I mean, before this we had Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine as our only two 3D Mario games, and that's just no thank you. I mean, I of course love the two, but compared to their worlds and level design, Galaxy just right out of the ballpark. And it's just amazing. It's just fun. Like there's worlds where, oh, this is just like a bee place, or this is a haunted galaxy, or where this is a galaxy made of ice and fire, made of a desert. I'm just thinking of all like the different worlds, and there's a lot. The bosses are fun, really creative. The gravity system is like ground changing, and like literally I don't even know how it was made. Seems like it's physically impossible to make as a game, but it's just really impressive. And how all the planets and the flying was pretty cool. It's probably the most cinematic Mario game of all time. Maybe Mario Odyssey can compete with that, but Mario Galaxy really feels like an epic adventure. And I sort of wish that the Mario movie was more like Galaxy and felt more bombastic, but it was still good. Mario Galaxy, on the other hand, just feels, true, authentic, fun, action, adventure. The music also helped with that. Pretty sure it's made by Koji Kondo, and this was the first Mario game to be performed by a live orchestra, and you can just really tell. The whole soundtrack really makes that game, and it just makes you feel like you're a Italian plumber on a space adventure. It's just so cool, and every sort of world has that distinct sort of music to it that you can just recognize instantly. It's iconic. What else is there to talk about Mario Galaxy? There's a lot, I guess. Pretty fun to 100%. Right now I'm currently playing as Luigi, trying to 100% that. So technically I'm only like 60%, but whatever. Okay, I beat the game. I 100%ed the game. I just have to do it again, and it's fun. It's creative. It's a nice little bonus. And I wish more games did that. Just in general, though. Mario Galaxy. Amazing. That's why it's going to be our 6th spot in my favorite games of all time. For me, anyways. Alright, now we're going to continue the sort of Nintendo streak right now. And we're going to have another pretty big, and one of the most famous Nintendo games of all time, at least right now. It's for the Nintendo Switch. Actually, technically it was for the Wii U for like a little bit, but mainly for the Switch. And of course it's going to be Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is just... it's an experience. It's not just a game. It's a lifestyle. It's nature at its finest. Alright, why go outside and touch grass when you can go outside and touch grass in a video game? It's the definition of freedom. And in some cases, I believe that Breath of the Wild has more freedom than Minecraft, really. Just because it's more independent. It doesn't bind you by anything. Like, yeah, there's an objective, there's a main mission, I guess. But, like, all that main mission really is, at the end of the day, is just defeating the bad guy. And you can do that as soon as you start the game. The game doesn't tell you that you have to do a bajillion other things first, just to do one small objective, and then once you do that, you beat the game. You beat the game whenever you want to beat the game. I beat the game once I did all the 4 little side quests or whatever, the 4 main side quests, if that even is a thing. But I didn't have to do that. I chose to do that, and that makes the game my own game, my own experience that no one else really had. Some people will do more side quests and talk to all the villagers, find all like the little tiny collectibles, just like 2,000 seeds or something like that, maybe 1,000, and then you find like these little Korok guys, and they're everywhere. Just hit a rock, boom, there's one. You climb up a tree, oh, there's another one. It's just nuts. There's so much content in this game, and you can't get through it all. I mean, I'm sure you can, but you don't have to. You can just keep playing this game for hours upon hours, and you're always going to find something new and discover something new. And there's all like the different dungeons and puzzles, and you gotta solve them, and you gotta use your critical thinking skills. They're fun. All like the little tools from your little iPad thing. They're creative, and I know Tears of the Kingdom probably has some more stuff, but I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom yet. Maybe if I did, I'd probably replace it with Breath of the Wild. But as of right now, I think Breath of the Wild is just a really, really important game to me. I didn't really like it at first. But after a while, probably near beating the game, is when it really clicked to me, and I truly understood that, this is my game. This is me. This is my life. I am Link at this point. This Link is me, and I am him. It's definitely not for everyone. Because if you don't like that sort of, oh, you can quite literally, like, do anything you want, and that's that. Cause, I don't know, gets kind of too much and could be off-putting to a lot of people. But if you really just want to play your own game, do whatever you want, what else can I recommend but this? So that's why Breath of the Wild is going down as my 7th favorite video game of all time. For me, anyways. Blah 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 blah. My next favorite video game is gonna be kind of weird. Because truth be told, I don't like it that much. But I love it, alright? And a lot of people probably aren't gonna like this, but it's gonna be the hit video game Dead by Daylight. Yay! Yay, I love Dead by Daylight. Whoa, I'm such a big Dead by Daylight fan. I've been playing this game since it was released on console for Xbox. I used to hate it because I was a Friday the 13th stan, and I was a diehard Friday the 13th stan. I hated everything that was trying to compete with it, which was only Dead by Daylight at the time. But it's been like 7 years since Dead by Daylight first came out, and it's drastically changed. The fact that I have just over 600 hours alone on Dead by Daylight, it kind of had to be on this list somewhere, and I didn't want to place it in the top 5 because it's not a top 5 game for me. Top 10 I can work with, however, and it's fun. It's great. I'm a big horror fan. You probably don't know that because I don't make like a lot of horror content. But I'm a really big horror fan, and I love slashers. You have a bunch of slashers. You've gotten so many IPs at this point. They're iconic. It's legendary. You know, Michael Myers, Ghostface, Leatherface, Pinhead, Xenomorph, Sadako. There's like a lot of fun characters. And there's not going to be another game like Dead by Daylight anytime soon when it comes to horror fans. So it's just, we kind of needed it. It's a really nice tribute to the horror genre. The gameplay is a bit of a struggle, because depending on like what month you're in, it's going to drastically change. And they're always balancing and reworking things, which I guess adds, freshness to it. It's not going stale anytime soon. It's still got a couple years left in it, at the very least. But it may be time to start putting this game to rest. But it's fun, I'm more of a killer main than a survivor, but I can understand the appreciation for both. I like playing as both. All the perks, a lot of creative different builds you can have, different play styles. The gameplay, the community specifically, they're a bit toxic at times, and you're gonna deal with a lot of people you don't like. But I think there's also a lot of nice people in it, and I've had a lot of good memories of really very chill and respectable players. And you just have a good time. You just join the family, and then boom, welcome to the world Dead by Daylight. And the fact that more people are just joining it every day, it's nice. And I hope that this game really succeeds, even if I don't like it as much as I do most other games. But it's very personal to me, and I have a deep place in it in my heart, which is why Dead by Daylight is going in my top 8 spot. For me, anyways. So I'm trying to think of the next spot, right? And what are my other favorite video games of all time? And I'm really struggling, if I'm gonna be honest. But I think I'm gonna go back deep into my roots and I'm gonna grab some games earlier from my childhood. So I thought of first 2 I could think of. And I think first we're gonna go with Left 4 Dead 2. This game is just really, really good, and I sort of forgot how much it truly meant to me, and how well it has aged to this very day. If you don't know what it is for some reason, Left 4 Dead 2 is a pretty old zombie game. 4-player co-op, and you just have, as a team, to get from point A to point B, survive campaigns, do little challenges, survive all like the different special enemies, defeat bosses together, and just work and survive. It's fun. It's just fun. It's simple. It's made by Valve, and it really captures that old sort of game design of the early 2000s, I guess, or probably later 2000s, but still. It kept it simple. It's really arcadey and fun. And the whole world's just fun. Like, yeah, it's a horror game, I guess, but not really. It's more of a comedy more than anything. Dark comedy. All the characters are really funny. The world building's nice. A lot of, like, wacky and zany little areas, like a whole carnival, or like I think it's a chocolate factory or something. And there's just a bunch of crying ladies there. It's weird, it's silly, but it embraces that, and I think that makes it a far better experience than if it tried to keep it more serious, which is what the first game did. And while the first game is kind of nice, you can play the entire first game and all like its campaigns in the second one with remastered graphics and gameplay and all the new mechanics of the second one. I don't really know what all the complaints can be. It's still active to this day, and on PC the modding community is just amazing. We had like an official DLC or free update DLC, which came for the free campaign that wasn't made by Valve at all. It was just made by some modders, and we got it into the game. It came out a few years ago, so that's amazing. It's just like wonderful that we can even get that. Like the fan base for Left 4 Dead is just wonderful, and I'm just glad that it's doing great. You can play whatever you want, play any map, any mod, and just have fun with it. Great game to play with friends. You just have fun, chill, kill some zombies, rip and tear, cause lots of bloodshed, and then boom, you're done. Simple and sweet. That's why Left 4 Dead is going. That's why Left 4 Dead 2 is going on my 9th favorite video game of all time for me. Anyways, alright, for spot number 10, I'm gonna have to give it to probably one of the greatest kids games of all time, and it's a Gen Z like staple of time in our culture, and it's gonna go to Lego Batman 1. I love all the Lego Batman games besides part 3, but I grew up with 1 and 2 the most, but I think 1 is probably my favorite just due to its simplicity, and it's just fun. It's a Lego game based off the Tim Burton, this loosely based off the Tim Burton sort of era. Batman and Robin, Batman 1, Batman Returns, and the Jim Carrey one. I don't remember. I never watched any of them, if I'm being honest. But you don't need to. It's just fun. It's comically goofy, and it's just silly. It's a fun kids game. I think a lot of older people may not like it, but the design is fun, and it's one of the first games I played. And you can just pick it up, and then boom, you understand. Just break the blocks, build stuff, beat the bad guys, solve like little mini puzzles to beat the bosses, and find hidden secret collectibles to get nice rewards. There's like 3 main campaigns you play as a hero, as Batman and Robin, and then you can unlock a Nightwing and Batgirl too if you want. And each campaign has like 5 or so levels in them, and there's at least 1 vehicle level for each of them, which is really fun. Even though a lot of people didn't like them, I do. Just playing in the Batmobile or the Batwing, it's just fun and it's cool. And then there's a lot of iconic characters in it. There's probably like more Batman characters in it than, like, I don't know, Injustice and whatever. It's like a big love letter to DC. And even though the other games are more bigger love letters, this one just has a lot of heart into it. And TT Games didn't know what they really wanted for their Lego series yet, as they were still developing. They only had Lego Star Wars so long ago from Lego Batman. But it's fun, and it was at a well enough point that it's pretty well developed, and it's just cool. It's just zany. And like once you beat the game, we get to play as the bad guys from their perspective, and that's really neat. Get to see what they're doing behind the scenes. It's just fun. And then each character has like their own little abilities and stuff. You have to remember which character does what, so you can unlock hidden things when you replay it. The replayability in this game is just peak. Phenomenal. Perfect. Alright. So, besides that, I don't know, because like Lego Batman doesn't have a lot going for it, but it didn't need to. Lego Batman 2 has a lot going for it, and that sort of caused some problems. It got like a little too over convoluted maybe. But the first one's peak Kino, man. Alright, I have like no complaints really. Besides, I don't know, a bigger hub would be kind of cool, but I sort of like that you could explore the Batcave and the Arkham Asylum. I think that's good enough for me. And just in general, this game was great for me. Great childhood memory. So that's why Lego Batman is going in top 10 favorite games of all time for me, anyways. Alright, I think the next spot for me is going to go to a Call of Duty game. I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, if I'm being honest, but I like Call of Duty Zombies, and that should give you a hint to what my favorite COD game is. But if you haven't figured it out yet in like 3, 2, 1, it's Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is probably my favorite Call of Duty game of all time, mainly because that Zombies mode was the greatest in my opinion. Even though it's kind of controversial nowadays, I think Black Ops 2 was the best. And it's so great. Everything's just so good. I love every single map. Transit, oh, it didn't age well now, but back then it was still pretty fun. You know, you couldn't really pack a punch with a stroke. You couldn't accomplish a lot of the advanced things you could do much easily in Black Ops 1. But everything was still fun, you know, there was a lot of simple arcade, really arcade game where you just kill all the zombies in the round, get points, buy better weapons, buy perks, and then boom, rinse and repeat. Transit was fun though, because that gimmick of transporting around a giant town was just really cool and creative, and we still haven't done something like that now. Again, like a Transit remake would be amazing. I would love a Transit remake. Give us one already. And then there's Die Rise, having the giant skyscrapers going between building to building in China. It's just really fun, and the elevators were really cool. And you haven't gotten that again. And that's without even mentioning like 3 of the greatest maps of all time, which was Origins, which I don't really like, but a lot of people love. People say it's like the best map of all time, and it's really hard, but it's really fun. You can get pretty far. The Easter eggs are really complex, but pretty rewarding. The staffs are cool. The story is cool. And then there's Buried, having a little underground western town. That's really cool and really fun. Really small map, but it didn't need to be too big to have. It's a lot of nice environmental design, storytelling. It's just also really fun. And then Mob of the Dead, my favorite map of all time, has like A-list mafia actors in it. It's just fun. And you can get like a shotgun that shoots acid and beat up giant zombie wardens. It's fun. Beat little dogs from hell. What other game can you really do that in? You know, you can do a lot in it. Then there's like Nuketown and stuff. Nuketown was also really fun. Really, I mean, I think there's some new Nuketown zombie maps, but that one, Black Ops 2, is just iconic. And in general, I don't think COD Zombies as a whole would be as popular as it is without Black Ops 2, even though World at War and Black Ops 1 were important, and I think both are great. Their maps anyways. I haven't played the original games anyways in years, but Black Ops 2, perfect. And I think it's going to go down in history as the greatest zombie game, or at least one of the greatest zombie games of all time. Just because it's so fun. It's its own thing. It is also just really important to me as a person. I don't believe that I'd be as much of a gamer as I am today without zombies, as it really got me into like more, hardcore gaming and thinking and being strategic and stuff, learning Easter eggs and getting more into the video game stories. It's really important to me. So that's why Black Ops 2, mainly Black Ops 2 Zombies, is going down as my 11th favorite video game of all time. For me, anyways. My next favorite video game of all time, number 12, is going to go to a classic indie horror game a lot of Gen Z kids liked. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you a hint. It starts with FNAF. It's FNAF 2. This game, I love all the FNAF games, at least all the early ones. The first, 5, Sister Location. 1 through Sister Location, all great, in my opinion. The others aren't bad, I'm not saying they're bad, but I just didn't really, I wasn't really into FNAF. At least I'm not into FNAF as much as I was back then as a child, in that sort of generation. I believe the newer FNAF games just aren't meant for me, and that's fine, it's totally acceptable. But the originals are fun, and I really like them. FNAF 2, I feel like, was sort of the jack of all trades of the FNAF games. Like FNAF 1 was really into, the small, simple setting of a survival horror game. You're just stuck in one room, simple premise. Just defend yourself from 4 little robot guys. Third one That's one I think a bit too complex. There's only one guy, and you gotta do a bunch of like weird little gimmicks to get him away, and you gotta fix your ventilation and a bajillion other objectives you gotta do while surviving the night, and then not even counting the Easter eggs you have to do to get the true ending. And then there's FNAF 4, which went back to being a bit too simple and way too hard, where you have to have your volume all the way up to hear the animatronics, which half the time you don't even hear, and your eardrums should get blasted for no reason. It's just not fun. FNAF 2, however, was really fun. Like, yes, there are a lot of objectives, but not really at the same time. There's only really 2 things you need to do. 3, maybe. One is A, put your mask up, your little Freddy Fazbear mask, whenever you see an animatronic in your office. Boom, done. B, you gotta blind Foxy with a flashlight. That only takes like a split second. And it switches things up, so you can't just do the same exact mechanic to defend yourself. You have to actually, think. And then the third one is the marionette, or the puppet's music box, where constantly this timer you have to focus on, and if you don't, you're gonna die. So that sort of pressure is always there, breathing on your neck, regardless on how well you're doing otherwise. So it's always something you have to keep in mind. I think this also has like the best pizzeria, the best map. I think it's really a fun plasticky sort of look, very retro. I know it takes place in the 80s, but it gives me like late 70s vibes, and I think that's really fun. And I liked it more than FNAF 1. Well, I don't know. FNAF 1 was really fun, but FNAF 2 was a bit more developed. So, to each their own. If you like the original FNAF 1 more in that regard, I totally get that. Also, I just really like the character designs in FNAF 2. The toy animatronics are probably not as scary as like all the other animatronics later on, but they're still fun, and they're really unique. I can like still the probably most iconic animatronics up there with the original 4. And the withered ones are amazing, like Withered Bonnie just having a missing face is so cool, and then Mangled was such a fascinating and interesting character, which they really should have, I guess it's fine that they didn't really include Mangle more often in the different games, but Mangle is such a cool premise, and I really wish they did more with them. Then there's also like the secret characters like Shadow Bonnie and Shadow Freddy and the random endoskeleton. There's just a lot of neat little details, but they don't change anything, and random luck isn't gonna change like the story or the gameplay or anything for you. And they're just all like fun little personal experiences. And back in the day, the rumors and everything. It's just fun, It's just things were a lot cooler back then. I don't know, when it came to like gaming rumors and leaks, whatever. But maybe that's just me. But I genuinely think FNAF 2 is like FNAF 2 is the best FNAF horror game of all time. Best FNAF game in general. I'm sorry, FNAF World. But that's why it's going as number 12 on my favorite video games of all time. For me, anyways. Alright, I think my next favorite video game of all time is... I don't know. I don't know if I want to place it on this list because of one little thing, but we'll get to that later. I'm going to place it on the list just because I need to, just because I love this game. It's a From Software game, and it's not Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1 or 2, it's not Sekiro, it's not Bloodborne. Okay, I think you get it now. It's Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 is one of my favorite video games of all time. I have never beaten Dark Souls 3. I don't think I ever will. It is a very hard game, and I don't think I am good enough to truly understand its magnificence. But it's just really fun. The world is just really fun. It's really depressing, really unique. Art style is really beautiful. The music's nice. That really powerful choir and orchestra. You're battling these giant demons and monsters that you really shouldn't have a chance against, but you just slowly overcome everything. And you just, that feeling of euphoria you get once you actually beat a boss after hours and hours of fighting them. It's just nice. And there's just something really special to me about Dark Souls 3. I mean, I played 3 From Software games. I played Dark Souls 3, I played Sekiro, and I played Elden Ring. Dark Souls 3 stuck with me specifically, however, just because that it just felt so much better, and it felt like its own thing, and it's just beautiful. I feel like it's the most beautiful. Not graphically, I feel like all are very similar graphically. But like just the general environments and different areas, of course, poison swamps in every game. But like the castle, with the dragon, and like the little dungeon you explore. It's just cool. It's just creative. The churches are nice. It really gives me like some powerful sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like romantic Catholic sort of vibe, I guess. It's really creepy, powerful. You can even say Dark Souls is like a horror game. Horror adjacent anyways. You're not gonna get scared by it, but it's a pretty creepy-esque game. And I just think it's fun. And really passionate. I love all the characters. I know I say that a lot, but like the Fire Maiden or whatever her name is, she's cool. The blacksmith or whatever. And the giant onion guy, can't forget about him. And I think it's a reference to like the little sun guy. I don't know. It's been a while. I love the Abyss Watchers. They're like iconic, and they're my favorite Dark Souls boss of all time. Bosses, plural, multiple of them. But I just think Dark Souls 3 is really cool, and if I ever beat Dark Souls 3, I think I'd place it much higher on this list. But right now I'm comfortable placing it as number 13 on my favorite video games of all time, for me, anyways. Alright, I think my next favorite video game of all time is going to go to one of the Fallout games. And although I played Fallout 4 the most by like a long shot, I think Fallout New Vegas is without a doubt the best. And that's a pretty safe pick, and I don't believe anyone's going to argue with that. But I just think Fallout New Vegas is really fun, really creative. I know, everything's creative. That's probably why they're on the list, of course, there. But Fallout New Vegas is just fun. And you're not going to play a lot of games like New Vegas. Obsidian really just killed it for only taking like a year to develop this game. But there's so much content to it, so much depth. You know, all the world building and stuff. All the different factions and, you know, political parties and whatever. It's fun. Because it's sort of realistic, but not really. And the game doesn't like nudge you in one direction or the other. It gives you like all fair takes on why you should be with or against the faction and why they're cool. And you know, each time you play, you can just choose a different choice and see all the different paths you can take. And that's just for like the main stuff alone. Then there's, you know, like the platinum chip, and you can hang out with Yes Man or Mr. House, and both are really cool. Both are pretty fun. Mr. House is like very fun, dynamic antagonist, or deuteragonist, sorry. Yes Man's also just fun to read. It's like comic relief characters of all time. I love Yes Man. You need more Yes Man in your life. He's fun, he's funny, and you can kill him and he'll just come back. He's like the ultimate failsafe and perfect game design. Having just that one guy who does not give a shit about his own views, and he's like, man, this courier is awesome. And that's sort of the thing with the courier, your main character, that he can be anything you really want to be. With all the other games, you have to be a vault dweller. And with you, like, yeah, you have to be a little mailman or mailwoman. But that person can have, like, any real backstory and what you were doing in the wasteland previously before you were shot in the head. And it's just pretty fun. You know, I mean, you can be a little creative. You can do whatever you want, really. You know, do you want to be a smooth talker, have, like, max charisma, and never have to do combat in your life? Boom, you can do that. Do you want to be like an explosive expert and like hang out with the boomers? And yeah, you can do that too. You can have fun with it. Do whatever you want. Put your points in anything. Make your own story. It's like Breath of the Wild, but you know, with more objectives and stuff. And it's just fun. All the enemies are cool too. All the like mutants and everything. A post-apocalyptic world is you know, it's probably more creative back then. It's a bit stale now, post-apocalyptic setting. But nowadays, right, I think New Vegas is still one of the most unique takes on a wasteland, where it's a fun desert, and society is thriving in its own weird way, even if there's a bit of an anarchy system. You know, there's control in it, and it's different. You're not gonna see a sort of world building like that in Fallout and other post-apocalyptic games like Fallout. It's futuristic, it's realistic, it's satirical, it's dark, it's gritty, it's funny, it's anything you want it to be. Fallout New Vegas is just a masterpiece, and that is why it is number 14 in my favorite video games of all time. For me, anyways. Alright, my next two games are going to be very different from everything in the rest of this little row. But I still think that they hold up as my favorite video games of all time, even if they're a bit weirder. Or at least don't fit in compared to everything else. But I think the next game's gonna have to go to Stardew Valley, made by a Concerned Ape. One guy made this beautiful, beautiful game, and you just gotta play it. There's no other way to say it. Alright, just play Stardew Valley. It's a farming simulator, right? It's just a farming simulator based off Harvest Moon, and sort of has Terraria vibes. Don't starve, but it's so much fun. It's so much easier too. And you just work hard, or you don't work hard. Work lazily. I don't care. You can do whatever you want. And the game doesn't really have any penalty to just being your own person, being your own farmer, and just having fun. You know, just every day do whatever you want. You want farm. Want to water your crops. Go do that. You want to go build a barn and go get some cows and milk them. You can do that. The music's gonna be nice. It's gonna cheer you on. All the villagers have like tons of dialogue, and you build different relationship with them the more hearts you have, and it's just nice. All the characters, they feel like your neighbors after a certain point, and they don't feel like they're like holding you back to anything. They feel like people, and it feels like your own little home after you really understand the whole layout. And there's just tons of content. You're really never gonna get bored. There's always gonna be a bigger objective you have to do, and you just work harder, or you just work at the same pace, and it just takes longer. That's up to you, totally up to you, and that's fun. You start off with like nothing, and you can have just giant everything, and it's nice. There's not a lot of games where you can just chill and be calm and be yourself. Alright, this is a perfect like anxiety reliever, stress reliever, and Stardew Valley is just wonderful. Concerned Ape is making a new game for once. It's not gonna be Stardew Valley 2, but it's gonna be Stardew Valley 2. And I'm excited for that. The Stardew Valley 1, my Stardew Valley, is amazing. And I love it. And it's just perfect in its own way. Perfect I was trying to be. It's a nice farming game. You just have your own little life. Step away from the stress of real life for a little bit, and get addicted to this wonderful little, magical little world, Stardew Valley, which is my number 15 favorite video game of all time, for me, anyways. Alright, I think my next video game is going to be sort of like Stardew Valley, but the opposite. It's like a farming simulator, but if God really hated you and wanted you to die every single second that you're playing it. And my next video game, top 16 favorite video games of all time, is Don't Starve Together. This game, I just got it. I don't even remember why I got it, but it's fun. You just play it by yourself, or you can play it with your friends, play it with a whole bunch of people. Just start a world, and just try to survive, but everything and anything can and eventually will kill you. Yes, this game is hard, and it will kick your ass, but you will have fun getting your ass kicked. Alright, the perfect game for a masochist, I guess. A lot of creative art style in it. A very creative art style in it. A lot of creative art in it. All the character designs are really cool and iconic. It's like a Tim Burton style, but all like hand-drawn and cardboard, like Paper Mario meets Tim Burton meets death. Like, yeah, you're gonna die a lot. And everything's like a monster. Like, spiders are like giants. There's like giant titans and everything that will destroy anything you make. And like, yeah, it's like Minecraft, but it's more like Minecraft hardcore. But Minecraft hardcore is the only option in the game. You can't do peaceful. You just have to see, are you a winner? And the answer was no. You'll never be a winner and Don't Starve. You're always going to lose, and you're always going to die. But you'll get a little better every time, and that's all that counts. Like, yeah, you're gonna die a lot, and you're gonna struggle a lot, and you're gonna be like, why am I even playing this game? But you're gonna keep playing the game as you're saying that. And I have at least 100 hours, maybe a couple more than that, sorry. But I have a lot of hours in this game, and it's constantly getting updates, and all the characters got reworks and everything. All the characters have special little abilities. And, you gotta play different play styles. Like, one does more damage but needs more food. One gets a lot of food easily, but they can't heal themselves and stuff like that. It's just simple. It's like, what do you want to play as? Here you go. You're trying to play as someone else. Here you go. Or the same person. Want to team up? Here you go. Alright, you can have little factions where you can work together, build one giant base. It's all up to you. Have fun. Survive. Learn more and more. Do harder and harder things. Accomplish more. And you'll be pretty successful in the game. And it's pretty underrated. Probably my most underrated game on this list. Which is why it is going down as my 16th favorite video game of all time. For me, anyways. Alright, I think the next game I want to place on the list is... it's sort of like the same genre. Sort of like the same genre of Don't Starve and Stardew Valley, but Nintendo made it this time, which makes it a bit different, a bit special, but a bit better in its own way. Still, I think I prefer the others more, just because I played them much more. But I think the 17th spot is going to go to Pikmin, the original Pikmin. I've only played the first two so far, and I haven't 100%ed the second one. I'm doing that as we speak. But I'm pretty close with being the second one. The first one, however, I just love it. It's simple, and it's really cute. You beat it in like 5 hours, but you can just keep playing it. You just keep playing it over and over again, and it's fun. You get better. You learn more. Alright. Simple premise, right? Actually, it's not really a simple premise, if I'm being honest. Kind of complicated, but a simple idea, right? You're this cute little space guy, little space astronaut, little baby man, little Olimar, and you're just on a rocket, and then boom, you crash down to Earth. But it's not Earth, it's a giant planet that all the humans are extinct for some reason. And there's like little bug people that are actually plants, little plant people, so you pick off the ground, and they just obey anything you do. You throw them at things, you pick up little pellets, and they'll find enemies, and they'll fight them, and then they can carry their corpses, and just drag their resources, and, reproduce. Boom, more Pikmin, more Pikmin, more Pikmin, more Pikmin, more Pikmin. And then boom, you have like a giant army, a giant colony. It's really just controlling a giant colony, and it's fun. You gotta find out all like the little parts of your little ship. And then if you don't, you're gonna die. And for like a Nintendo game, that's pretty dark. And you're gonna suffocate because oxygen's poisonous to Olimar. So you gotta get off the planet soon. And if you don't, you're gonna fail, and you have to do it all over again. So yeah, it's pretty fun. There's a time limit too. There's only so much you can do in one day. You only have so many days. You really need to be very careful and strategic on how you're doing things. But it's really up to you. And it's not too hard once you get the hang of it. All the enemies are really cool, because like you have to use different types of Pikmin and like attack them at the right time and in the right spot, do damage, or if you don't, you're gonna lose like a lot of your Pikmin all at once, and it's gonna feel really bad. But that's where the charm of it is, that you're going to lose a lot of Pikmin, but it's okay at the end of the day, because the Pikmin are fine. Alright, there's gonna be more of them. But you care about the little guys, right? Because they're cute, they're like little baby voices. And they're just like little tiny things that care about you and you alone. And you feel connected, but they die. And yeah, you can only do so much before they're gone. But they're really helpful. And it really feels like you're a leader and a little army general. And there's not many other games where you can have that sort of feeling. It's like, yeah, there's other real-time strategy games, but Pikmin 1, it really encapsulates how it feels to be a leader and just sort of controlling your own little world, slowly taking over the world while also slowly dying if you don't save yourself, because you're really screwed if you don't. So it's all up to you. And I just think it's a cool, unique game. Pikmin 2, I also really like. Much harder though. I don't like as much as 1, just because it's hard and takes much longer than it needs to fully 100%. but maybe that's just me. But yeah, Pikmin 1, going again. 17th spot on my favorite video games of all time. For me, anyways. Alright, my next pick is kinda stupid, because it's probably not the best game in the series, but I've only played one game in the series. It's a Nintendo game. Have any hints? It's Animal Crossing New Horizons. First Animal Crossing game I played. It was during the pandemic, I believe. Same day as Doom Eternal. And yes, I got Animal Crossing. It's really fun. Really cute game. It's just, I like it. So it's the Stardew Valley, but, you know, unless you time travel, everything's in real time, and all at its own pace. It's a much slower pace than everything else in this list, right? You just gotta go chop some wood. You gotta get some stone. Gotta get your gold, and that's it. You know, talk to your little villagers, fish, collect bugs. It's just cute, and you know, you can only do so much every so often, and then, you know, the game changes as the day changes. Like, you know, you can only play at night, or daytime in daytime, obviously. And then the seasons change too. Like, it's gonna be winter, and in winter, it's just nice, it's fun, and it feels realistic. It feels like there's like this little virtual pocket in reality that you can just hop into, and it's just like the real world, but so much nicer, right? Like, yeah, you gotta pay off your loans or whatever, but there's no interest or anything. You can pay it at your own pace. Just boom, your nice little house, your quaint little house, and you just work, and you just give gifts, and you have parties, and you just hang out. It's just fun. It's just fun. My biggest gripe with it, though, is that they didn't really update it. They didn't add as much as they should have, and that's really unfortunate. I feel like the other games, from what I've heard, had more content, and all that content was out the same day. With New Horizons, however, that wasn't really the case, and everything came out periodically between like months, and that really was the downfall of the game, in my opinion. And I think if they just added it all at once and then added some other like DLC, paid DLC, that big, like their Happy Home Academy thing, I think that it would have been a much better game. But still, on its own, it's nice, right? Just build a house, survive, or not really, just chill, alright? Just collect and have fun. Be free. That's all Animal Crossing is, all it needs to be. That's why it's my 18th favorite video game of all time, for me, anyways. Alright, my next favorite video game of all time was probably gonna have to go to Payday 2. Yeah. From here on out, it's gonna get a bit iffy, right? Because there's only so many games that I truly love and adore, but I think Payday 2 is pretty fun. And it's pretty addicting. I have a lot of hours on it. I have too many hours in it. But it has high replayability, and that's all you need. You know, it's a simple premise, right? You're just a little heister. You rob things, steal things, make money, get new loot, get new gear with that money, upgrade your little base, and then boom, you're done. Just rinse and repeat. Just go and have fun. Shoot little, you know, your little SWAT officers and stuff. And go and just rob people, hold people hostage, and trade them for stuff, you know? You get like special little weapons and little melee weapons. You can hit people. You can hit like little invisible ghost people with comically large spoons. That's just silly. The whole game's silly, but it really accepts what it is, acknowledges what it is, and embraces it. It's just a really silly game. You know, you just rob like casinos, and you can collab with the Hotline Miami people and go to like the Hotline Miami like levels and stuff, and that's cool. Alright, not a lot of games like that. You can also go to like Scarface's mansion, which is also neat. Reservoir Dogs, you can go to that little warehouse. It's just cool. It's really cool. And yeah, I just think it's really fun, and it's silly. All the characters are funny. Actually a lot of cool characters, like John Wick is in Payday 2. Dude, most people even know that? Probably not. Same with Jacket from Hotline Miami, which hey, guess what? Guess what? That was the first game on the list. That was the first game. Jacket was in that game. Yeah. So you can just a lot of cool characters, a lot of cool levels, a lot of replayability. Soundtrack's amazing, made by Simon Viklund, who also voices Bane, who's like the little operator and everything, your little leader, and he's just amazing. Like, I will give you my all. The 2017 version, just banger, pure banger. Every song that came was a banger. Just everything, so good. You just play in the background, really. Even though you can't just like relax to it, you can just vibe hard to the soundtrack, and that's all that matters. Because Payday 2 just had one of the greatest soundtracks. Great level designs, great characters, great replayability, great with friends, mainly with friends. You can have a lot of fun memories with friends if you play it. And, just have fun, go crazy, go stupid. Just do whatever you want in that game. It's like, yeah, do you want to be a professional? And then you play on the lower difficulties. Or if you just want to really struggle, play on the harder ones. And you'll get better. And you just level up in prestige and just keep going. You can get better, do more, get more, be successful. Boom. Payday, which is our 18th, maybe
2 hours later.
19th. It's the 19th one. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. It's the 19th favorite game of mine, for me. Anyways, Payday 2. Alright, my next favorite video game is another favorite of the Gen Zers, and another classic retro indie game that came out 2015, something like that, 2016 maybe, and that is Undertale. Everyone loves Undertale. No one needs me to explain why Undertale is so goated. It's like, I could have put Deltarune, but Undertale's just way ahead of it in its own league. It's just wonderful. Toby Fox is like a legend. He's like my idol. Okay, here, we're just gonna quickly break this through. Soundtrack, amazing. I can recognize every single track in that game, every single character, every single town. There's that song, and it just boom. You can connect it. You can make your own memories for the songs. And speaking of characters, all the characters are fun, like Sans and Papyrus. Sans is like a living meme icon at this point. And Papyrus is fun. Undyne, Tutorial, whatever, Flowey, Asgore, Alphys, WD Gaster, Omega Flowey. There's just a lot you can do. There's like a lot of different different little people, little baby men. And there's a lot of choices in it. You can choose to literally kill all of them or none of them, and that's really fun. You just boom, do whatever you want. Alright, I want to do a pacifist run, then yeah, don't kill anyone, and you're gonna get a completely different story than the guy who killed everything, and then the person who killed some people and left some people alive. It's gonna lead to another different story, and it's gonna be more interesting. Each time you play, the story's gonna change, and once you beat the game, the story remembers that you beat the game, and that it's gonna change just every single time, and that's really cool. And lots of little Easter eggs and stuff. The writing's also really witty and really funny, and it's just a really light-hearted game that you can just sit down and enjoy. The gameplay's really fun too. The ability is turn-based, but also a bunch of sort of remind me of WarioWare, I guess. Where it's a bunch of mini micro games that you have to survive so you don't take damage. And if you take too much damage, you die, of course. But you also have a bunch of items. Then the fighting system's kind of cool because you can choose to literally fight them, or choose to just do an action or talk to them in a certain way, and then you can spare them. And boom, you don't even have to kill them. It's just cool. It's just cool. A lot of games don't do that. A lot of games never will do that. It's Undertale. It's its own thing. It's beautiful. It's a banger. Magnum opus in indie gaming. Alright, I had to put it on the list. Alright, I think my next favorite video game, I was debating whether or not I wanted to even put it on the list, because I already have one of the series, kinda, in here. But I think it's a different enough spin-off that I don't even need to worry about it. But I think Mario Kart needs to be on here, just because I love Mario Kart. And there's two specifically, and I'm debating between Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart 8. I'm gonna say 8, though, just because. It has the largest roster. It has the most tracks, and like the new booster pass or whatever. There's so many new tracks from all like the different games and everything. This is the ultimate Mario Kart experience, right? Racing isn't the most fun thing in the world, right? I'm not gonna play Forza. I'm not a Forza type of guy. But playing in like a giant little Mario world full of like zany little characters, like going into Bowser's castle or like a giant piano, it's cool. Like a giant little playroom, it's cool. You don't get to do that anywhere else. It's Mario Kart. You get to hit people with little Koopa shells. The music's fun too. Love the music. The music was phenomenal. Okay. It's like, yeah, it's a bit strange that they didn't make Mario Kart 9 yet. But Mario Kart 8 is here right now, and it's the best thing we're gonna get for a very long time. And Mario Kart 9 is gonna have some tough competition because there's just so much in Mario Kart 8, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful game. Runs pretty well on Switch and pretty well on the Wii U, at least from what I remember. And no one else is gonna really deny the impact that Mario Kart has had on like gaming, right? Because it's like one of the most popular video games of all time, at least most popular Switch game of all time. I know that for sure. Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun, family fun. Get your friends and race. Go hit people with your little blue shells. Go dash, make new records, or do the like little battle mode and like the smaller maps. A lot of different creative things you can do in the game, and it's also all up to you. And that's it. Mario Kart 8 goes in the 21st spot in my favorite video games of all time. Me. Anyways. Alright, my next favorite video game of all time is going to go to a game I have a couple hundred hours in, and I just forgot it existed for a while, but it's a masterpiece and it's great. It's a classic. It's got to go to my 22nd favorite video game of all time. It's got to go to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Great game, alright? There's like nearly 100 characters, or maybe there's 100 now, I don't know. But there's so many from so many different games, from Mario to Zelda, from pretty obscure, like Duck Hunt, Mr. Game & Watch, Min Min from ARMS, like why the fuck was she in there? But still, this is cool, right? There's so many characters. It's like one giant celebration of video games as a whole, because you have like Solid Snake, you have Joker from Persona, you have Sephiroth, so many cool and unique different characters. All the maps are cool, right? They have like actual levels from video games. You can go into a Minecraft world in Super Smash Bros. That's cool. You can play as Mario, and you can beat up Sora from Kingdom Hearts in a Minecraft world, and that's just wow. That's gaming. That's cinema. The story mode was kind of weak, but at least we had a story mode compared to Super Smash Bros. 4 Wii U. Because that game just had nothing. Word of Light at least had something, and it was kind of fun. I wish there were more cutscenes, but the cutscenes we did get were beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. Kirby was MVP. Love Kirby, my bro. That's probably why I like Word of Light, just because Kirby has some recognition for once. Lots of fun, like little arcade modes too, like survival, like the little challenges and everything. Home run, it's cool. And that's not even to mention how in-depth the combat is. It's like all the different combos and everything, all the different classes, the weights and everything, all the specials, and what each one does, and how it all connects. It all flows like butter too. And since it's a platform fighter, it's not about health, it's just about mobility and how well you can stay on the stage while knocking the other person off the stage. It's cool. And like, yeah, there's a bunch of other platform fighters coming out, like Multiverses and Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is coming out. But Smash will always just be its own thing, and it's iconic, it's beautiful. I love it, you love it, we all love Super Smash Bros. It's peak, it's it's fire. It's fire. Amazing. So good. Just play Super Smash Bros. If you haven't already. It's because it's like the greatest game of all time. What more can I say? I mean, is it my favorite? No. But it's so good. It's perfect. In its own quirky little way. It has a lot of flaws, but it's cute. I like it. That's why I said it in my 22nd favorite video game of all time, for me, anyways. Alright, so I started debating this, right, because does it really count? And the answer was, I don't care. I think it counts. And it's gonna go to Gary's Mod. Truth be told, I didn't have this game for a very long time, but I've always known of its existence, and I love that it existed for so long. So Gary's Mod is just, it's just great. It's, creativity at its finest, right? It's probably more creative than Minecraft and Breath of the Wild combined, right? You really just do anything you want. And everyone as a community just has to work together to make their own game by just combining everything. You want to go into like Super Mario 64 Peach Castle while, firing the portal gun, while fighting Call of Duty zombies, you can do that. You can do whatever you want in this game. And if you just learn some basic programming, hell, you can probably just make whatever you want. And no other game will have that creative potential as Gary's Mod. Like, yeah, Sandbox is coming out soon, or at least hopefully, eventually it comes out. But it's not going to be Gary's Mod. Gary's Mod is its own thing, right? Like Source Filmmaker and Half-Life wouldn't be nearly as iconic as it is now if not for Gary's Mod. And its creative potential is what caused Gary's Mod to be as cool as it is. And I have so many memories of just watching YouTube and then just seeing people play Gary's Mod and doing so many different things, right? So many different ideas, death runs, destroying buildings, role-playing. It's fun, it's creative. And the fact that you can just do anything means that it should be on here somewhere, because I can make it the greatest game on here if I really wanted to, somehow. Whatever is in its potential is viable. Alright, I can make probably most of these games playable in Gary's Mod, which is cool. Which is why it's going down as my 23rd favorite video game of all time. Alright, my second to last favorite video game of all time is probably going to go to Doom Eternal, which is under some controversy as of recording right now. Mainly because a lot of people don't like Doom Eternal and say it's a bit too corny, but I think Doom Eternal is so fun and just so zany. My first Doom game was Doom 2016. I had it for my Xbox One. I think I did beat it. I think I nearly beat it anyways. And it was really fun. It's really hard, but really fun. A bit dark, but it was still cool. I mean, I'm a fan of dark things, so I enjoyed it. Doom Eternal, though, I got it for PC. It was my first PC game, I think. One of my first. And that's just so fun. So fun. You can like blow up like planets or shoot holes in planets with like a orbital cannon. You can like literally rip and tear, like the game says, all the enemies into like little pieces. And the adrenaline, it's like Hotline Miami but 3D. And the concept's cool, right? You're like a little space soldier, but you're in hell, and everything wants you dead, but you want everything dead too. And so you get really big hero like savior complex, and you just feel like real badass for once, right? Like you feel like you are unstoppable when you play the game. And that's just amazing. It's what the game's trying to be, and it succeeds at that. Also really gory. All the maps are covered in blood and guts and gore and like little moldy demons, and like there's giant demons running around. It's cool. There's like little collectibles, cute little collectibles, like little action figures, like bootleg Funko Pops. Those are cute. And you can get them in real life too, which is kind of nice. Then all the art's creative. I have the art book for Doom Eternal. I think like the con makers, the sentinels, all the demons, like the Caco demon. It's just really cool, really fun. And then you can literally play Doom 1 and Doom 2 through some secrets in the game. I think you have to beat the game or something like that, but you can unlock it. And you can unlock the original Doom suit and 2, a bunch of cosmetics and stuff. A lot of secrets, a lot of challenges, a lot of hard difficulties. It's a challenge or it can be a breeze depending on what you want. And you're gonna struggle at times, but you're gonna have fun doing it, and you're gonna keep coming back up and slaughtering and slaughtering. It's just a great game, and I highly recommend it for anyone who wants a good FPS, because I think it's the greatest first-person shooter of all time. Maybe, in my opinion. But that's why Doom Eternal come down. That's my 24th favorite video game of all time. Alright, my 25th favorite video game of all time. The last one in this video is, can you guess it? I left a hint on the left. Is it a Yakuza game? Oh no, it's not a Yakuza game. Just kidding, it is a Yakuza game. It's Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon. I think Yakuza, Like a Dragon, is probably like the best JRPG I've ever played. Of course, I haven't played too many JRPGs. I've only played like 2. This and Persona 5, and I guess I couldn't fit Persona 5 into the list here, but Yakuza's great just because it's so funny. I mean, it's like, what if, you know, instead of a Dragon Quest or whatever, where you're playing as a magical hero and everything, what happens is you're just a random homeless dude, and you're just like a little psychopath, and that's it. It really captures that Japanese like wacky sense of humor, where your whole crew consists of like 2 homeless guys, a DMV worker, a bartender, like a little K-pop hitman. It's just funny. It's just silly. And the game just gets really crazy. You have to like, you know, deal with like giant babies or a random masochist you have to help out, and then you can like watch movies and like a mini game where you have to try to stay awake. It's just fun and it's different, and it's not about the actual game itself, but all the different little things you can do that add up into one overall experience. Like there's like a little racing Mario Kart mini game, a business managing game where you have to like run a business and actually like succeed, and then you make money off of it. You know, you have to collect things. You have to go do like random missions, help beat people up, so you can get points and stuff, and go to arcades, get claw machines, and get like plushies of other Sega characters like Ai. It's just funny. It's just silly. Alright? You just do whatever. You know, you just have fun. You just enjoy like the absurdity of a game where you're just a regular dude, but everything is so like over dramatized, and everything's just like overly excited. Everything's just really silly for no reason besides being silly. And like the story's kind of cool, I guess, but you're not going into you're not going into this Yakuza game for the story. Other games, yeah, definitely. But this one, probably not. It's really just sort of the vibe and overall aesthetic that Yakuza Like a Dragon has that I don't think a lot of other games will be able to capture. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I think Yakuza is pretty fun. And even if you don't like turn-based games, I think you'll enjoy Yakuza Like a Dragon, because it really understands what it's trying to do, what it's trying to be, and that's fine. That's overall, it's just a nice little experience. Great game, very fun. Lots you can do in it, lots to complete. So if you're a completionist, you know, it's gonna take a while, but you have fun. And that's it. That's the list, guys. That's my 25th favorite video game of all time for me. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm already debating my sort of picks and my placement of them. Now, my placements weren't too important. It's just the overall idea, I guess. But still, I think this captured what I really like, my tastes, and my opinions. That's all that matters for me. If you somehow got through all of this, then hey, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and you know, I hope you stick around for more of my videos. I may do some more gaming stuff, who knows? But that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have fun.